Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather next week's 10 days. For today's video, this will take us to the end of June, so to around the 28th of the month. Also have a look at the CFS V2, and that goes right the way through into the second half of July. So we've had a lot of warm weather over the past few weeks. It's been very dry down in the south. We've got more warm and pretty dry weather to come in the next few days. We'll see how long it's going to last for in terms of both week to 10 day forecast period and also the extended range as well. So we'll begin with the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECM here on the top, and the GFS, which I'll have a look at in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, centimeters per feet area in actually high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by a jet stream running above. Red extrapolates high pressure, blue to low pressure. These are the mean flowcharts for the 7 to 10 day time frame. So the ECM is placing a big ridge of above average heights right over top of the UK and Western Europe in the 7 to 10 day time frames, which leaves the jet stream being pushed off to our north up there. So, well, that's signs of a bit of a heat wave coming up there for the end of June and possibly to the start of July. That will be hot temperatures and very dry conditions as well under that area of high pressure. That is a vast and extensive ridge that's sitting right over top of the country. Now, the GFS is very similar, but it doesn't go quite to that sort of extent. So it has above average heights close to the country and also to our east and also out into the Atlantic as well. To the north of us, we've got quite a lot of low pressure to our north. It's just a bit more of an influence from the jet stream, especially for northern parts of the country. So that would be bringing a lot of dry weather and pretty warm weather to the south, but it wouldn't be quite as dry and potentially hot as what the ECMWF is showing. Nevertheless, both these models in the next week to 10 days anyway are predicting a lot of dry and warm weather to come. GFS temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like that. So we're starting off very warm at the moment. Looking at London today, starting off very warm at the moment. We have got a drop in temperature coming up in the next couple of days. So we will see the temperatures lowering and pushing down into below actually the red line. So going a bit below average in terms of the upper air temperatures for a few days. Excuse me, from around Thursday through to the weekend. It will be a little bit cooler, but after that we find the temperature stage your recovery over weekend and into next week going back above average, and it looks like we close out June on really quite a warm note indeed. As well as that, loads of dry weather. So for the next week to 10 days it's basically dry for London. There's hardly any precipitation spikes to be seen. And then in the very extended range, heading towards the final days of the month and early July, we have got a few precipitation spikes turning up, not that many of them, probably associated with showers, if anything. But really, for the rest of June, we are looking at a lot of dry weather, I think, down in the south and the southeast. And despite that little drop in temperature that's coming up towards the end of this week, overall the temperatures look like they're holding up pretty warm as well. Temperature anomalies from the 18th to 26th of June are coming out close to average across the country. A little bit cooler than average, actually, for Scotland and Northern Ireland. That's all because of the drop in temperature that's coming along at the end of this week. From around Wednesday in the north and Thursday in the south, we do see the temperatures dropping for 2 or 3 days, and then they'll start to stage a recovery. I would expect to see these charts trending warmer over the this week of updates. We'll be looking at them every day. I suspect they will trend warmer as we go further on through the week. Precipitation anomalies from the 18th to 26th of June look very, very dry indeed, especially so for England and Wales, substantially drier than average. So the dry spell is going to continue. So this is how the GFS is looking for Thursday, and this is when we're pulling down that cooler air. So the high pressure has slipped to the west of the country, and we bring down this northerly shot of air. So it will feel a lot cooler and fresher on Thursday compared to the warm and quite humid weather we're going to have in the south and southeast over the next 2 or 3 days. Mainly dry, but high pressure is dominating the weather, and that continues into the weekend as well. And with time over the weekend, this high pressure starts to become more centrally located over the top of the country, bringing lots of dry and increasingly warm weather through the weekend. The temperatures start to stage recovery and return back to being above normal. That's how things are looking early next week. In a week's time, we've got high pressure still dominating across much of the country, although a little bit of influence from the jet stream in the far north of Scotland could bring some cloud and showers up to there. The high pressure fest continues as we run up towards day 10, so lots of high pressure dominating weather. Will be cooler at times in the north, but in the south pretty warm there, and just lots of dry weather persisting up to day 10. It basically looks like there's not going to be any rain at all down in the south between now and the 10th day, which is Thursday, the 28th of June. By the way, you hear a lot of background noise. I'm living next door to a building site at the moment, so there's a lot of activity going on just outside the front windows, and so I'll be competing with the noise from the building site, but just over the other side of the path outside the front window. So sorry about that. Hope you'll be able to bear with me. In the extended range of the GFS, we find that the wind goes into the northwest, so it starts to turn a little bit cooler again as we extend into the extended range of the GFS. And by early July, actually, the GFS is turning things quite unsettled on this particular run. I'm not at all sure about that, but that would be quite a change in the weather pattern actually for the final couple of days of June. And the opening days of July, it does turn rather cooler, quite a lot cooler actually, and rather more unsettled as well. Now, the ECM is a classic run today. So this is how things are looking for Thursday. We've got this cooler push of air coming down from the north, and as we go into the weekend, the high pressure starts to return from off the Atlantic. It turns mostly dry and increasingly warm over the weekend, and then into next week this high pressure just becomes rooted right over top of the country. So look at that, this is Tuesday next week, 26th of June, with a big summer ridge sat over top of the country. That'd be very warm, temperatures probably into the upper 20s Celsius with that, so going into the 80s Fahrenheit, and very dry conditions too. And that just extends on into the extended range, so we go through to day 10, which is Thursday the 28th of June, and again that high pressure is just centred over the top of the UK. I reckon that could be lifting temperatures up to 30 degrees. There's the upper air temperatures, but 15 Celsius iceberg is through the UK. Now the GFS doesn't go as far as this with this warm weather, so it does have it quite warm for a time next week, and then it cools things down in the second half next week. So now we've got a discrepancy between these two models. But if this is right, if the ECM is right, then we're looking at a heat wave next week. Our first real heat wave of the summer would lift temperatures up to, I reckon that would get up to 30 degrees in the south, which is 86 in Fahrenheit. Let's have a look at CFS V2 and see what that's showing. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period will take us from the 18th through to the 25th of June. The coming week finds above average heights close to the country, but ever so slightly to our west, which just leaves us with a little bit more influence from the jet stream. Still lots and lots of dry weather, but the jet stream is something like that, and so it's ever so slightly cooler than we've had it over the past few weeks in the north. In the south, it's mainly dry and pretty warm in the south as well. That's how week 2 is looking. It's the 25th of June through to the 1st of July, and again the above average heights of high pressure are centred over the top of the country. That's in line really with what the ECMWF is showing for those final days of June, potentially turning quite hot there if that's right. And look at this, it goes on into week 3. This is the 2nd through to the 8th of July, with again above average heights centering themselves right over top of the country. The jet stream would be doing something rather like that. So we're on the warm side of the jet. That could be a heat wave there through early July and no change as we get through to week 4, which is the 9th to the 15th of July. The above average heights just continue to be sitting over top of the country. Now, if this is right, we're looking at a very warm first half to July, and after the warm and dry June that we'll have had, we will, by this point, if this is right, we will, by this point, by the middle of July, be having to start thinking about the summer of 2018 turning out to be a hot and a dry summer, maybe a classic hot and dry summer. If we get to the middle of July and we're still in that high pressure pattern centered over the top of the country, our temperature anomalies look like that. So from the 18th to 24th of June, we're a bit cooler than average up in the north, but we're warmer than average down in the south. However, it is slightly cooler compared to the temperatures we've had over the past few weeks. But week 2 returns us to much warmer than average temperatures again from the 25th of June through to the 1st of July. And that continues to week 3 as well, the 2nd to the 8th of July, again coming out substantially warmer than average, and it all continues into week 4 too, the 9th through to the 15th of July, again substantially warmer than average temperature anomalies. And so by this point, we're halfway through summer by then, of course, 15th of July. And if this is right, we will have had a very warm, a very, very warm first half to the summer of 2018. That's not to say that it would necessarily continue into the second half of the summer, but certainly interesting times ahead if we get to the middle of July and we've still got this high pressure rooted over top of the country. Precipitation anomalies are looking like that. The 18th to the 25th of June looks like they're coming out significantly warmer than, drier than average, I should say, in the week ahead. Week 2 precipitation anomalies also coming out substantially drier than average. So it's going to be really dry, essentially, for the rest of June. We go through to the first days of July. This is the 2nd to the 8th of July. Still hinting at being a bit drier than average, really, across much of the country. By week 4, which is the 9th to the 15th of July, precipitation anomalies are going back towards average as the signal is just weakening away, as it very often does. So, really interesting times ahead here, because we've had very warm and dry weather so far this summer. It looks like this is going to go on, particularly in the south, being really dry through the rest of June. And if the CFS is right, we could well be looking at a very warm and dry first half to July as well. And so now we have to start thinking whether this is starting to turn out, summer of 2018 is starting to turn out to be, is it going to turn out to be a hot and dry summer? It's too early to say that, but certainly the hints are there within the CFS, and also got the ECM now producing a heat wave through the final week of June. So the hints are there that this summer, very unexpectedly, might be beginning to trend towards being quite a classic summer, actually, with a lot of very warm, potentially soon to be hot and also dry weather. Let's wait and see. It's early days of this summer yet, but that's certainly the way the CFS is trending, and that update today from the CFS does look really interesting, the way it's just keeping that high pressure rooted over the top of the UK right the way to the middle of July. Finally, just talk you through our Patreon page and also the PayPal page. So if you would like to leave a donation for Gazworthies, you can become a patron for Gazworthies. This is our Gazworthies Patreon page. So I'll leave the link to this page in the description box at YouTube. Also linking to it from Gazworthies. If you want to make a monthly donation, it can be anything from $1 a month and up. Then you just come to this page and you become a patron for Gazworthies. Alternatively, if you would like to make a one-off donation, then you can do it through our Gazworthies PayPal page. Again, I'll leave the link to this in the description box at YouTube, and we're linking to it from all of the pages at Gazworthies. So you can just donate whatever amount of money you would like as a one-off donation through PayPal. A big thank you to everybody for doing that. It is helping us to pay for our website. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying the content. And that's all for now. Hopefully tomorrow things will be a little bit less noisy outside. Sorry about that. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.